It's the new trend on TikTok. Everybody's doing it, seal coating. Yeah, you can make a lot of money doing it. What's it cost? We did it. We're in our second season of it. We started it in January 2021. And we're in October now of 2022. So we have 2 seasons in. Kind of just want to briefly go over how we got started with very little bit of money, because we didn't have two pennies to rub together. Where we're at now in our second year, what we made our first year compared to our second year, how we got started, the things we used, the things we bought, and kind of how to get into it on a budget. So that's pretty much what this video is going to be focused on, is just getting started. If you're interested in getting started in seal coating, this is how to do it the cheapest way possible without still putting, a good product down and making your customers happy.
Seal coating your driveway is a messy job best left to a professional, and DIY products rarely produce the results you expect anyway. The professionals at KB Blacktop use the highest quality asphalt seal coat to quickly and cleanly protect your asphalt driveway from fading, cracking, and staining. Don't deal with the mess, just call the best. Call KB Blacktop for all your residential and commercial asphalt sealing and striping needs.
So the money to getting started, bare minimum, what you're going to need, you're probably going to be around $1,000. What we started out with first, we found some used totes, 275-gallon totes. You can find those on Marketplace for like anywhere from $50 to $100. Once you do that, you get yourself a trash pump. You can go to Harbor Freight, you get yourself a 2-inch, 212cc gas trash pump. There's instructional videos on how to actually build the setup on YouTube. I'm not going to do that because it's a waste of time. Or you can spend the $1,300 on a pre-built one on eBay. Either way, whatever you choose, if that's the route you want to go, it'll work. It doesn't last very long. We went through 2 trash pumps within our first season. So we probably got about 3 months per trash pump. So there's about 6 months span in a season of seal coating for at least where we're at. We're northeastern. So if you want to go with the trash pump route, you can. It's a good way to get started with a little bit of money. It's definitely not going to put out a lot of product or material, but for doing residential driveways, it's not a bad way to get going. So after you get your system set up, you got a little bit of a tote tank set up with your sprayer. The next thing you're going to need to do is find yourself a distributor. Do not go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy the buckets of seal coat. It's junk, it's too thick, it flakes up, and it'll dry out and look like skin does when it dries out, and it gets flaky and it peels up everywhere. So don't make that mistake, because a lot of guys that watch these videos on TikTok, they're like, hey, we're going to get into seal coating. They go to their local Home Depot and Lowe's, and they buy this shit, and then they spread it all over, and it looks great for a photo. And then about 2 months goes by, and we're getting phone calls from the customers saying, hey, we just had this kid seal coat our driveway. Why does it look like this? So don't go that route. Get yourself a really good distributor. There's a real popular one would be Sealmaster. You can Google Sealmaster and find local distributors. That way you can buy it in bulk. So you're also going to get your product a little bit cheaper, and that gives you more room for profit in the long run. All right, after you get your sealer, you got your sealer in your tank, got it in your spray system, go try like your mom's or your buddy's house. Go seal a couple driveways, get used to it, see how the material flows. To edge, some people use edge brushes. We used to actually just use kitchen brooms. You can work it like a plow almost and direct it as you're going around. We got really quick with it. You're not bending over and killing your back. It's real effective, especially for time, if you want to be in and out. And the big thing too is when you're starting a company, details are everything. So you want to focus on the little stuff. If you get sealer on something and you got to clean it up, it's a pain to clean up. But make sure you clean it up. If you got to paint a house, because we've had that happen where you get caught in a rainstorm and the whole side of the house gets covered. So figure out, like with your friends and family, try a couple driveways, make sure you actually get the hang of it and you kind of understand. This thing's going to be the legal aspect of it. So you kind of got your business all set up, you're ready to go. This is where a lot of people go wrong and you get the term gypsy. So you just you get your stuff, you go door to door, start knocking. That's great and all. We started door knocking too when we were getting in the industry. The problem is though, like I said, if you get caught in a rainstorm and it pours down rain on your freshly seal coated driveway, when it hits that driveway, all that stuff splashes up on the garage doors, the siding, the brick, the sidewalks. You have a huge mess on your hands. 9 times out of 10, you can clean it up. But for the sake of the customer and for yourself, get yourself some insurance. General liability insurance. We do $1 million general policy. It's not outrageous. I think we spend maybe $1,000 a year on it, which sounds like a lot up front, but when you break it down monthly, it's really not bad at all. That way you're covered, and your customers, you can also put that in your advertisements. It makes them feel all warm and cozy, and then you know if something were to happen, worst case, you do have that policy to get you covered. The next thing is going to be getting you set up, structured with a entity. So a lot of guys starting out in the landscaping business, they do a DBA, and it'll be like a sole proprietorship. If you want to go that route starting out, that's fine. You lose a little bit on your income side of it. So we started ours out, originally it was a partner LLC, which got dissolved, and we turned it into a S Corp. So you can Google that a little bit if you want. I recommend the S Corp a lot. Being an owner is really nice because I get a paycheck as if I was an employee of a regular company anywhere else. That way, when I get taxed, I'm only getting taxed what's on my paycheck. So everything that's in the business itself is a separate own thing. If we were to some reason get a lawsuit or something, nothing's tied to my name personally. It's strictly for the business and the business name only. It also helps you out on income tax in the long run. So you're legal, you got all that set up. Your next thing is going to be advertising. Nobody knows who the hell you are. You can do the newspaper if you want. We didn't have much success with that. The best thing that I recommend is Facebook ads. Before and afters are huge. The better quality of a photo you can take and make it, a million times different looking on the after and really make it pop, makes customers call you more than anything that we've ever used. We've used door hangers, we've used yard signs, business cards, radio ads, TV ads. This is 2 years in, just kind of playing around, seeing what works and what doesn't work. But for the budget, get yourself, a couple yard signs that you can come back, pull them out, and then move them to the next job. Get some business cards just because some people need to know your contact info. If you're walking and talking to somebody, something quick, you hand to them. You go in Vistaprint, 100 of them's like $25. After that, definitely get on Facebook and start building your Facebook profile, your page. Like I said, the before and afters are going to really be what pushes you to the next level. I know when we started doing it, a lot of guys in our area, weren't doing that for any business. Everybody does it now. And this is only 2 years of playing around with it because people like to see what they're buying. So show it to them and really pay attention to the details. If you're getting up close to concrete and brick, take the photos of how close you got up to it without, getting sealer where it shouldn't be, because stuff like that is going to make customers really want to call you over the guy that's knocking on their door and spraying sealer all over the place and making a mess. So you don't want to wait for the people to call you because it'll take forever. Nobody knows who you are. You're a new business in the area. And quite frankly, a lot of people are getting into this, so you're probably not the only person in your area doing this. Take your business cards, go knock on some doors. We used to take the truck and unit, and we'd drive to a neighborhood. We'd all get out of the truck, knock on the door. Hey, you interested in getting your driveway seal coated? Tell them all the benefits of it. You're a salesman. You got to pitch this to them and explain to them why they need it done. Pitch them a highball price, and then be like, you know what? Since we're in the area today, we'll cut you a break. People love when they think that they're getting a deal. Compliment something about their house. Be like, you have such a really nice house here. It's a shame your driveway is looking so faded. We could really make your house pop just by, getting your driveway seal coated. Not only are we protecting, your investment, because getting a driveway replaced is, $3,000 to $4,000, and for $300, we'd be happy to cover it, protect it. It's going to look like this for 2 to 3 years. Get that image in their head of why they need to do it. Any good salesman knows it's the transfer of belief. So that's all sales is transferring the belief of what you're trying to sell to that individual. And if you're selling them a good product, it's going to be easy to do. It's just going to come naturally. And the more you learn about sealing and the more you learn about seal coating itself, you're just going to have that knowledge, and it's going to come to you a lot easier to talk and to sell going door to door. So I don't want to spend too much time on all the little stuff. If anybody has any questions in the comments, ask me. I'll do a breakdown video on individual things. But after you start getting your name out there, you want to get yourself an accountant too, because like I said, you want to save yourself some money, because the more you can write off, the better. Otherwise, you're going to lose all that money in income. Cash is king. Don't let anybody know that, but if you can, especially when you're going door to door, getting started, run some cash, get your business, it's legal, you have an LLC or whatever, but start running some cash, get some cash in your pocket, and go from there. Once you start getting, into bigger jobs, you might start hitting up little gas stations, little pizza shops. That's when you're starting to get your foot in the door in the commercial world. Commercial is awesome because you can make probably 3 times as much money as you would, residential on a small scale. On a large scale, it's insane. One job would be double what your parents' salary would be, and it's really crazy to think that. But starting out, you're not going to have a line striper. We had 2x4s and 4-inch rollers, and we went out, and I'm going to show you a photo. This parking lot we did, believe it or not, was all hand rolled, and we just laid a 2x4 down as a straight edge, hand rolled it, and this parking lot still looks as good as this does, in this photo today. If you're paying attention to the details of what you do, your products are going to last, and your customers are going to call you back when they need it done again. And that's everything in this industry, because there's too many people that do all these things on the cheap side and on the quick side, because they all want to make a quick buck, and it backfires on them. That's why the sealing industry has such a bad reputation for being a gypsy, because all these guys run around, they'll spray driveways, and, it's watered down product, and a year or two goes by, and it looks like absolute shit. So you want to make sure that you stand out from that. And I even bring it up to a customer when I'm talking to them, be like, we're not like that. That's actually one of the reasons why we got into the industry, was because we haven't seen somebody that's doing a quality job or a detailed job. So why not, offer that high quality service and product, especially to the upper class people in our area that have these really nice homes. So that was our pitch point when we were going door to door. We weren't going to these small, rinky-dink trailer parks. No offense to anybody that lives in a trailer park, but 9 times out of 10, the money you have is not prioritized to what your driveway looks like. But if you go to a little bit nicer of an area, maybe a development area, which is really nice, because if you get one of them, normally you get all of them. It's like keeping up with the Joneses. But those are the types of people that care about what their house looks like. If their house looks like crap on the outside, the grass is all growing up, the shingles are on the roof are falling off, they don't care what their driveway looks like. Don't waste your time. They're just going to piss you off. It's going to be another no, and you're going to just get, upset and not want to keep knocking on other doors. Go to the nicer neighborhoods. At first they're going to be like, why are you knocking on my door? Well, the minute you start talking to them and you sound educated, they're not going to care why you're knocking on the door, because you're going to build that trust with that customer, and they're going to really be like, oh, okay, I understand. This guy knows what he's talking about. Let's give him a shot. It's only $200-$300, which is nothing nowadays. Well, when you can do 5 of those or 10 of those in a day, you really start to see where the money can add up in this industry. Our 3 months in, we had accumulated enough money to where we bought a used spray unit off Marketplace. I highly recommend you do this. Buy something used, buy something cheap. I think we bought ours for $3,000, which, we had to pay ourselves because we didn't have two dimes rubbed together getting going, but you need to save as much money as you can. There will be days where you make $2,000 to $3,000 in a day. It is very hard for you to not want to go spend $2,000 to $3,000 in a week, because when you start making that money, you're not used to it. It can be difficult. So you have to really teach yourself mentally to save your money, because you are going to make a pile of money in this industry, but there's a lot of costs in this industry that people don't talk about. So it looks like there's you could do $200,000 in a year, and it's like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. Well, when you have 2-3 guys, or 2-3 trucks, or spray units, or motors go out, the sealer itself gets very expensive. There's a lot of cost that adds up in these things, so you have to be very careful with how you budget and spend your money, because that's going to, at the end of the day, make or break your business and separate you from the guys that are driving around in those crappy pickup trucks from like where you started to in 2 years looking like a full-blown professional company, because you budgeted your money correctly and you put all that money back and reinvested it into the business. So that is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to make or break you in the seal coating industry, because I have friends that are in the industry and they still look like the same that they did 5 years ago, because they get that quick cash. They don't know how to save their money. They don't know how to budget it. It's gone. It's out the window. Now, being a rookie starting out, like I'm pretty young, so I was still learning, the whole industry and how business works. Obviously, if you show profit, you get taxed for profit. So I tried to hide as much money as I possibly could my first year. Kind of kicked myself a little bit, because if you do decide to go and get financing from a bank, which we never had to do that, they look back on obviously your income and loss. With that being said, though, there's still a pretty big number there. It was just under $50,000. Again, it sounds like that's not a lot of money for a year, but you got to remember, this is only maybe 5 months out of the year. They say 6 months of the season, but when you count in rain days, holidays, sick days, stuff like that, you really only get to like 4.5, maybe 5 months that is really go time. So you got to make that time count. Like I said, first year, we had $22,000 just in job supplies. That's going to be your sealer and different things like that, a lot of your consumables. Now, with this being said, this was what the government's seen. When I started talking about this video in the beginning, cash is king. So there was a lot of money that was not seen, in our QuickBooks. So, we did still make a little bit of money. And I don't want to say how much, but it was definitely enough that it was worth our time in our first year, that we're like, okay, let's hit the ground running and do this into our second year. So I'm going to show you, this is what our second year looks like. All right, so I'm just going to show you this number. We're not done yet this year, but we're close to being done. It's over $100,000. This is what's on the books. So, when we do residentials, a lot of times, we'll throw some cash in there. But it's pretty crazy to think that we not only doubled our original number, but we expanded tremendously with the vehicles, the trucks, the crew. It's really cool to see how much we've grown just in our second year. It's very easy to do, especially if you have your mindset into the only way I can spend this money is in growing this company. So if you have that mindset with, hey, I got $100,000, but I want to make sure I'm growing this company, it's kind of fun because you're spending money on making it better. You're reinvesting it into the company. So this is just, I don't want to get into it too much, but this is what we did. We're partially through we're almost done with our second season. If this is something you're interested in, you have any questions, message me, comment. We can do breakdown videos on certain things if you're having any issues with machines, running a crew. At a young age, when you're running a crew, it can be a little bit difficult because you're not a worker anymore, you're a leader. That was a real big thing that I had to learn. Taxes, legal entities, things like that. If you guys have any comments on that, leave them. I'll do my best to answer them and help you guys out. Thanks for watching.